Thank you. This first question is actually for both, and just a commentary if you give it to us in regards to our diplomatic and strategic relations with some South Pacific island nations. I led a delegation last year as chairman of Intel Special Operations, and some of the things that we heard were, number one, that a lot of our South Pacific friends did not like the fact that we use Australia as as a kind of a proxy for us. And number two, that they are fearing more and more and feeling more and more Chinese exertion of power. And also, we could comment, I think it was Fiji that has really started leaning even further towards China, because this is also this is a game of space. And the closer we could get to China, the more we can deter them, and the further they could get to us, the more they can deter us. So I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking or feeling about our relations down there.
Well, I'll begin, Representative, by saying that I'm a strategist who studies deterrence primarily, and so I'm not going to be the most sensitive observer or most nuanced analyst of the full spectrum of regional dynamics. But what I will say is it's very clear that the nations in the region are increasingly uncomfortable with China's behaviors, and that they are looking to the United States and our partners and allies broadly to help them carve out the space that they need to do their primary job, which is to take care of the interests of their countries and their people.
Yep. Admiral Harris, and as former ambassador to Australia, I believe, is that correct?
I beg your pardon?
And as former ambassador to Australia, or is it just South Korea?
No, right. I wished I was.
Right, I think we nominated you.
I was nominated.
Yeah, we nominated you, but then we moved you over. Yeah, but I don't know if you have any
I love my time in South Korea.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was disappointed I didn't go to.
Right. So are we. But I don't know if you have any
insight.
Any insight into our relations in the South Pacific.
Yeah, so where we are in the South Pacific, I believe, is an outcome of some very bad decisions that we made in the 1990s or so. For example, we made a decision to shut down the embassy in the Solomons. And we should not be surprised in 2023, 2022, that China moved into that vacuum in a big way and inked a defense relationship with the Solomons. You know, I was in Fiji last year, and the American embassy in Fiji is responsible for 5 islands, 5 independent countries that the ambassador there is accredited to. That is a mistake. It's probably a budget-driven mistake that we need to fix, and we are fixing. The U.S. is going to re-stand up our embassy in the Solomons, and we're going to put at least one other embassy in that area of 5 countries that the American embassy in Fiji is responsible for. Separately but related, we're doing the same thing in Maldives. Maldives right now is covered by the ambassador and the embassy in Sri Lanka. We're standing up an independent, separate embassy in the Maldives. We need to do more of this because, again, I hate to go back to what I keep saying, but diplomacy and diplomats matter. I came to that realization late in my life, but I hope to be able to influence.
Thank you, Admiral. And I will say, from our travels, and we went to Palau, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, we did hear that we needed to exert our diplomatic initiatives stronger in that area. Dr. Sisson, on the topic of Taiwan, you write that you want to encourage the government of Taiwan to adopt a defensive concept that forces the PLA into suboptimal strategies. Could you describe in greater detail that defense concept you have in mind?
I will give you as much detail as I can, but caveat it by saying that it's a big question, and I'd be happy to engage with you and your staff afterwards on more specifics if you want. But the basics are actually not, they're not rocket surgery, right? I mean, they are things that would make it more difficult for the PLA to get its ships close to the island. There's advantages of the terrain on the island that Taiwan could certainly work with. There's long shorelines that you can take advantage of with particular kinds of munitions and fast attack ships, for example. So those are the sort of pointy edge of the immediate kinds of response. But again, the defense concept really has to have at its core the resilience of the Taiwan people, which is something that they're clearly aware of, and unfortunately and painfully even more so given the events in Ukraine. So those are the combination of the kinds of elements we'd want to see in a strategy for Taiwan's defense.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chair.
Chairman, I recognize the gentleman from Tennessee.